All right, so get ready because we are going deep into cognitive neuroscience today.
Thanks, fun.
You've given us quite a stack of readings for this deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
We've got excerpts from Neurological Foundations of Cognitive Neuroscience, which is edited by Mark Esposito.
Great book.
And then we've also got some really interesting studies on spatial attention,
Yeah.
memory, language,
Love it.
numerical cognition.
My favorite.
So it's going to be a pretty wild ride.
Buckle up.
Yeah, through how the brain constructs our reality,
Yeah.
especially when things go wrong.
Yeah, these cognitive disorders.
Right.
They offer a really unique window into the inner workings of the healthy mind.
Yeah.
It's like reverse engineering a complex machine,
Yeah.
By observing what happens when it breaks down, we can deduce how all the parts were working together.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So let's start with something we usually take for granted.
Okay.
Just our awareness of space.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to think of our vision as this camera, right? Capturing everything in front of us.
Sure.
But you've included some material on neglect syndrome,
Right.
which totally throws that idea out the window.
Yeah. Neglect syndrome shows us
Yeah.
that perception is way more selective than we realize.
Right.
Individuals with this condition, they might fail to attend to like one entire side of their visual field.
Wow.
They might eat only half their food,
No way.
shave half their face,
Really?
or even deny ownership of their own limb.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's almost like their brain
Is.
has drawn a line down the center of their world and is choosing to just ignore one side completely.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it sounds more like a magic trick
Yeah.
than a neurological condition.
Yeah.
But this raises the question, is
Yeah.
it a problem with seeing
Okay.
or with attending to what's there?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
And that's a crucial distinction.
Yeah.
Research has actually shown that it's not simply a matter of blindness. There have been all these studies using like cameras, pulleys, and mirrors
Okay.
that have demonstrated that neglect can stem from where someone is looking, where they intend to act,
Okay.
or even a combination of both.
So like multiple systems
Yes.
at play
Yeah.
influencing what we perceive.
It really challenges this idea of a single spotlight of attention
Right.
that we shine on the world.
Yeah.
Like there's multiple systems.
Yeah.
It's way more complex.
And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
The research you shared suggests that the severity of neglect can actually be predicted by the size of the stimuli.
That's right.
What's the connection there?
So this magnitude factor,
Okay.
it reveals a close relationship between perception and attention. Larger stimuli are more likely to grab our attention,
Okay.
even in individuals with neglect.
Wow.
It's like our brains have a built-in system for prioritizing information based on its salience.
So could we leverage this in therapy?
That's a good question.
Like if we create environments with just huge cues, prompts on the neglected side, could we help people with neglect kind of re-engage with that part of their world?
That's a very insightful question, and it's something researchers are actively exploring.
Cool.
There's some evidence that manipulating the salience of stimuli can actually influence attention and neglect,
Okay.
which opens up some pretty exciting possibilities for rehab strategies.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
We've already uncovered a potential application just by delving into this one disorder.
Yeah, it's amazing what we can learn from these things.
And it seems like the parietal cortex is the key player
It is.
in this whole spatial processing puzzle, right?
Absolutely. Both human and monkey studies point to the parietal cortex as a central hub
Right.
for processing all this spatial information.
Okay.
And research is revealing that different subregions within this area might specialize in various aspects of spatial attention,
Okay.
like integrating sensory input or creating those mental maps of our surroundings.
It's like each region is a specialist,
Yeah.
contributing its expertise
Right.
to create a comprehensive understanding of space.
It's okay.
But this intricate spatial processing also plays a role in how we form memories,
Yes.
which brings us to our next topic.
Yes, exploring memory disorders, especially amnesia, is like opening a treasure chest of insights into the different types of memories we possess.
We tend to think of memory as this one big thing.
Yeah.
But you've included this case study
Right.
of a 75-year-old woman experiencing memory decline. That really brings this idea to life.
Yeah.
It highlights the challenges of understanding different types of memory and how they can be affected.
Indeed, her husband initially noticed some really subtle changes at first.
Okay.
She was having trouble operating new appliances.
Okay.
And remembering recent events.
Right.
But over time, her memory issues worsened.
Oh, wow.
Impacting her social life and her daily activities.
Right.
And, this case, it exemplifies how memory disorders can manifest so gradually and affect different aspects of a person's life.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is.
And a powerful reminder of the impact these disorders have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've provided some in-depth material on the medial temporal lobe.
Yes.
Particularly the hippocampus.
Right.
And its surrounding areas.
Yeah.
These structures are critical for forming new memories.
They are.
But is that the whole story?
Well, while the hippocampus is a crucial player, it's not acting alone.
Okay.
Research on the parafinal and entorhinal cortex highlight their roles in object recognition and spatial navigation, respectively.
Okay.
These structures, they collaborate to create a really robust memory system.
So it's a team effort.
It is.
Different brain regions contributing their specialties.
Yes.
But what about when we need to retrieve those memories? The frontal lobes step in then right.
Precisely.
It's like they hold the key to our mental filing cabinets.
That's a great analogy.
The frontal lobes are essential.
They are.
For those strategic aspects of memory. They help us search, strategize, access those memories stored elsewhere in the brain.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like having a librarian who knows exactly where every book is. And this all gets even more intriguing when we consider the different types of memory that can be selectively impaired.
Right.
Break it down for us.
Okay.
Semantic versus episodic memory.
Okay, so think of semantic memory as your vast encyclopedia of general knowledge.
Okay.
It's knowing that Paris is the capital of France.
Right.
Or that water boils at 100 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
Episodic memory, on the other hand, is your personal highlight reel.
Okay.
It's remembering your first day of school.
Right.
Or a special meal you enjoyed last week.
So someone could lose the ability to recall like those personal events.
Yes.
But retain their general knowledge.
Precisely.
That's both fascinating.
It is.
And a little unsettling, to be honest.
It is a bit strange.
Imagine knowing all these facts, but having no memory of your own life experiences.
Yeah, we see this in specific types of amnesia.
Really?
Individuals might struggle to recall specific events.
Okay.
But they can retain all that factual information.
Wow.
It demonstrates the complexity of the memory system.
Yeah.
Different brain regions all contribute to its overall function, creating this tapestry of experiences and knowledge.
It makes you appreciate how intricate something we take for granted really is.
Yes.
Speaking of complex systems,
our
next topic is language. It seems so effortless.
It does.
But the research you've given us underscores just how intricate the brain's language network really is.
It's amazing.
What happens when that network gets disrupted?
Well, language disorders like aphasia provide valuable insights into the neural basis of language. You've included an article on Wernicke's aphasia, which is a fascinating condition where speech is fluent but meaningless.
It's like listening to someone speaking a language you don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
The words are there, but the meaning is lost.
Right, and traditionally, we've attributed this to damage in Wernicke's area.
Okay.
Located in the superior temporal gyrus.
Right, but it seems the story is more nuanced than that.
You're absolutely right. It's not as simple as a single area being responsible for all of language comprehension.
Okay.
Modern research is showing that language processing involves a distributed network with multiple brain regions working together to produce and understand language.
So Wernicke's area is just one player.
One player in a larger orchestra.
And you've included a paper on the interactive activation model?
Yes.
Which helps explain what's happening in Wernicke's aphasia.
Exactly.
It sounds incredibly complex.
It is a bit.
But can you give us the layman's version?
Okay, so imagine a network of interconnected nodes, each representing a different aspect of language processing.
Okay.
Like recognizing sounds, accessing word meanings, things like that.
Right.
The interactive activation model proposes that these nodes constantly communicate and influence each other.
Okay.
So in Wernicke's aphasia, the damage disrupts this intricate flow of information, leading to that characteristic fluent but nonsensical speech.
So it's like a symphony where some instruments are out of tune, disrupting the harmony.
A good way to put it.
And this model helps explain why people with Wernicke's aphasia make specific errors, like substituting words that sound similar, even if the meanings are totally different.
Exactly. It's like their brain is trying to improvise with the instruments it has left.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, these errors provide a glimpse into how the brain attempts to compensate when its language system is compromised.
It's remarkable how resilient the brain can be.
It really is.
So we've delved into spatial attention, memory, and the complexities of language. What else can studying cognitive disorders reveal about the brain's inner workings?
Well, you've also included some research on numerical cognition. Which is a fascinating area that explores how the brain processes numbers and performs calculations. This leads us to the condition known as acalculia.
Numbers are so fundamental to our lives.
They are.
I can't even imagine losing that ability.
Yeah, it would be pretty tough.
What does a calculia look like? And what can it tell us about how our brains handle numbers?
So acalculia is the impairment of a person's ability to calculate because of brain damage. And you might be surprised to learn that there are different types of acalculia.
Oh, really?
Revealing the distinct processes that are involved in numerical cognition.
So it's not just about struggling with, like, basic arithmetic.
No, exactly. You've included research that goes beyond simple addition and subtraction. Exploring how the brain represents numerical magnitude, the relative size of numbers, and how it processes more complex calculations.
Wow.
It's like a window into those cognitive mechanisms that underlie all our numerical abilities.
You've also shared a case study of a woman with Gerstmann syndrome, which includes acalculia, along with some other fascinating symptoms. It seems like this syndrome really throws a wrench into the works.
This woman's case is particularly intriguing. Because it demonstrates how seemingly unrelated cognitive functions can be affected together. So Gerstmann syndrome involves a cluster of symptoms. Calculia. Difficulty with writing.
Oh, wow.
Confusion with left and right orientation.
Really?
And an inability to recognize one's own fingers.
That's wild. It's amazing how specific these deficits can be.
It is.
What's happening in the brain to cause this particular combination of symptoms?
That's a question that researchers are still unraveling. But it points to the interconnectedness of all these different cognitive functions. Damage to certain brain areas can have those cascading effects, leading to those complex and seemingly unrelated symptom clusters.
It's like a domino effect in the brain.
Exactly.
Now, I've always been fascinated by the concept of a mental number line. This idea that we represent numbers spatially. Is there scientific evidence for this?
There is.
Really?
There's a phenomenon called the SNRRC effect, which stands for Spatial Numerical Association of Response Codes.
Whoa.
Studies have shown that people are faster to respond to smaller numbers with their left hand.
Interesting.
And larger numbers with their right hand.
Okay.
Suggesting we mentally organize numbers along a left-to-right continuum, much like a number line.
Wow. It's like our brains have this internal number line we're not even consciously aware of.
Incredible. And you've provided information on the triple code model. Which sounds like a blueprint for the brain's calculator.
Well, the triple code model proposes that different brain areas contribute to numerical cognition. Think of it as 3 specialized systems. One for processing numerical quantities. Another for verbal representations of numbers. And a third for the visual representations of Arabic numerals.
So depending on the task, different parts of the brain step up to the plate.
Exactly.
If I'm calculating a tip, I might be using my verbal system to mentally run through those multiplication tables. But if I'm like estimating the number of people in a crowd, I'm probably relying more on my visual system.
That's a great way to put it. The triple code model provides this framework for understanding how all these different systems work together.
And you've also included a paper that challenges this traditional view of these distinct numerical codes.
Pushing us to consider how they might be more integrated than we previously thought.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
I love how research is continually challenging the status quo.
Me too.
It's so cool how even something as seemingly basic as numbers can reveal so much about the brain's complexity.
It's amazing what we can learn from these disorders.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into cognitive disorders, what's the biggest takeaway you hope our listener is left with? It feels like we've only just scratched the surface, you know?
We have.
But we've covered so much ground already.
Yeah.
We've explored how spatial neglect reveals the brain's selective attention, how amnesia unlocks the secrets of different memory systems, how language disorders like Wernicke's aphasia highlight the complexity of language processing.
It is pretty complex.
And how even numerical cognition can be disrupted.
Right.
Revealing this multifaceted nature of our numerical abilities.
It's fascinating stuff.
It is, and the beauty of it is that each of these disorders offers a unique lens.
It does.
Through which we can understand the healthy brain.
By studying what happens when these cognitive functions go awry, we gain valuable insights into how they operate when they're working seamlessly.
It's like we're detectives piecing together clues to unravel the mysteries of the brain.
I like that analogy.
But it also makes you wonder, if we can understand these breakdowns, can we use that knowledge to develop strategies for, like, boosting cognitive function?
That is a really important question, and it's something that researchers are actively investigating.
That's great.
Understanding those neural mechanisms behind these disorders might hold the key to developing interventions and therapies to actually enhance our cognitive abilities.
Wow.
Both in healthy individuals and those facing cognitive challenges.
It's like reverse engineering the brain's processes. Learning from its vulnerabilities to discover its strengths.
Exactly.
So for you, our listener, this is just the beginning.
It is.
What sparked your curiosity the most today?
Yeah, what are you interested in?
What areas are you ready to explore further?
Perhaps you're intrigued by, like, the potential of brain training programs or the impact of lifestyle factors like sleep and exercise on cognitive health.
Right.
Or maybe you're interested in exploring the ethical considerations surrounding cognitive enhancement.
We've equipped you with some incredible insights from the world of cognitive neuroscience.
An amazing field.
Now it's your turn to take the reins and dive deeper into the areas that fascinate you most.
Keep learning.
Keep those neurons firing. And we'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.